It was a crisp autumn evening in the bustling city of Chicago, when Jessie's world shattered, like fragile glass. Jessie, a compassionate and resilient woman in her early 30s, had built a life of love and mutual respect with her husband, Josh, a brilliant lawyer whose principles were as unyielding as steel. Their marriage was a sanctuary, woven from shared dreams, late-night conversations, and quiet moments of joy. But a tragic car accident tore Josh from her, leaving Jessie to navigate a grief so profound it felt like a physical ache in her chest. As she prepared for his funeral, she clung to the hope that her family, her stern father Richard, her aloof mother Margaret, her ambitious brother Ethan, and her childhood best friend Clara would stand by her in this darkest hour. Yet, when the day of the funeral arrived, the church was eerily silent, save for the echo of her own sobs. Not a single member of her family appeared. Not her parents. Not Ethan, not even Clara, who had once promised to be her sister in all but blood. Jessie stood alone by Josh's casket, her heart heavy with betrayal, whispering a final goodbye to the man who had been her everything. The absence of her loved ones gnawed at her like a relentless storm. After the funeral, Jessie reached out, desperate for answers. Her father, Richard, a towering figure who owned a chain of luxury hotels, dismissed her with a cold, "Josh was never good enough for our family. He didn't fit our standards." Her mother, Margaret, echoed his disdain, adding, "We couldn't be seen at his funeral, Jessie. It wouldn't look right for our reputation." Ethan, her older brother who managed the family's empire with ruthless efficiency, was even more callous. "We had a critical board meeting that day. The company comes first, you know that." Clara, her supposed best friend, offered no explanation, just a curt text. "Sorry, couldn't make it." Each excuse was a dagger, deepening Jessie's sense of abandonment. But beneath her grief, a seed of suspicion took root. Why had they all turned their backs on her? Why did they despise Josh so much? Determined to uncover the truth, Jessie began sifting through Josh's belongings in their shared apartment. In his cluttered home office, she found a locked briefcase hidden beneath a stack of legal documents. Her hands trembled as she pried it open, revealing a trove of files, encrypted USB drives, and handwritten notes in Josh's meticulous script. As she pored over the contents, a chilling realization hit her. Josh had been working on a high-stakes case that threatened to unravel. A massive scandal involving her family's hotel empire. Richard and Ethan were entangled in a web of illegal activities, money laundering through offshore accounts, tax evasion on a grand scale, and bribing city officials to secure prime real estate for their hotels. Josh, with his unwavering commitment to justice, had been gathering evidence to expose their crimes. The documents detailed secret bank transactions, forged contracts, and incriminating emails between Richard, Ethan, and corrupt officials. Most shocking was a cryptic note in Josh's handwriting. "Clara knows." The truth crashed over Jessie like a tidal wave. Her family and Clara hadn't just abandoned her. They had betrayed Josh, and by extension her. They hadn't come to the funeral because they feared Josh's investigation would surface, exposing their crimes. Clara, it turned out, had been acting as a mole, passing Josh's findings to Ethan to help the family bury the evidence. Jessie's grief morphed into a burning resolve. She would not let Josh's death be in vain. She would honor his legacy by exposing the truth, and ensuring those who betrayed her faced the consequences. But she refused to stoop to their level with violence or petty vengeance. Her revenge would be calculated, precise, and devastating, a masterstroke that would dismantle their world, while preserving her integrity. Jessie spent weeks meticulously organizing Josh's evidence. She photocopied every document, digitized every email, and stored backups on an encrypted cloud server. Knowing she was up against a powerful family with deep connections, she reached out to an old college friend, Sarah, a tenacious investigative journalist with a reputation for exposing corruption. Sarah was stunned by the scale of the scandal but agreed to help. Together, they devised a plan to leak the evidence to the Chicago Herald, a major news outlet, while keeping Jessie's identity anonymous to protect her from retaliation. But Jessie wanted more than just exposure. She wanted her family, and Clara to know she was the architect of their downfall. She wanted them to feel the weight of their betrayal as acutely as she had felt their absence at Josh's funeral. Before handing over the evidence, Jessie invited her parents, Ethan and Clara, to a private dinner at her home, claiming she wanted to reconcile and heal old wounds. They arrived, expecting an emotional reunion, their faces a mix of guilt and smugness. The dining room was dimly lit, with a framed photo of Josh on the table, his calm smile a silent rebuke. As they sat down, Jessie spoke with a calm that belied the steel in her voice. "I know why none of you came to Josh's funeral. You were terrified of what he knew about your lies, your crimes, your corruption." Richard laughed nervously, dismissing her words as grief-fueled nonsense. But Jessie pressed on. "Josh was going to expose your illegal empire money laundering, bribery, tax evasion. And Clara, you helped Ethan cover it up. You betrayed me." The room fell deathly silent. Ethan's face drained of color, and Clara's eyes darted to the floor, unable to meet Jessie's gaze. Jessie slid a thick folder across the table, containing copies of the most damning evidence: bank statements, emails, and Josh's notes. "This is what Josh found," she said, "and tomorrow it will be on the front page of the Chicago Herald." Richard stood, his face red with fury, threatening to sue her into oblivion. But Jessie remained unshaken. "You can't stop this," she said. "You abandoned me when I needed you most. Now, you'll face the consequences of your choices." The next morning, the story broke. Headlines screamed, "Hotel Empire rocked by corruption scandal." The article detailed the intricate web of illegal activities, backed by irrefutable evidence. The National Integrity Bureau, NIB, a fictional federal agency tasked with investigating high-profile corruption and white-collar crimes, launched a full-scale investigation. The NIB, known for its relentless pursuit of justice and its team of elite investigators, seized financial records, raided the family's corporate offices, and issued subpoenas to Richard, Ethan, and their associates. Within days, Richard and Ethan were arrested, their faces plastered across news channels as they were led away in handcuffs. Their hotel empire's stock plummeted, and their once sterling reputation was reduced to rubble. Clara's fate was no less severe. Jessie, in a calculated move, anonymously sent evidence of Clara's complicity to her colleagues, friends, and social circle. Emails showing her collusion with Ethan were leaked to her employer, a prestigious PR firm, leading to her immediate termination. Her friends, horrified by her betrayal, cut ties, leaving her socially ostracized. Clara's carefully curated life unraveled, mirroring the isolation Jessie had felt at the funeral. But Jessie's revenge extended beyond exposure. She orchestrated a public shaming campaign to ensure her family's downfall was etched into Chicago's collective memory. She collaborated with Sarah to produce a series of follow-up articles, each one delving deeper into the family's greed and the human cost of their actions. Employees who lost jobs, communities displaced by their shady real estate deals, and families defrauded by their schemes. Jessie also organized a public memorial for Josh, held at a community center near their old neighborhood. The event drew hundreds of people, whose lives Josh had touched through his legal work, and Jessie spoke passionately about his fight for justice. She subtly referenced her family's betrayal, framing Josh's death as a catalyst for exposing their crimes. The memorial became a rallying cry, with attendees demanding accountability from the city's elite, further cementing Richard and Ethan's disgrace. Jessie's revenge wasn't just about destruction. It was about rebuilding. Using the proceeds from Josh's life insurance, she founded the Josh Harper Legal Aid Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to helping victims of corporate greed seek justice. The foundation provided free legal services to those wronged by powerful entities, carrying forward Josh's legacy of integrity. Within a year, it had become a beacon of hope, with offices in Chicago and plans to expand nationally. Jessie also wrote a memoir, Unveiled Secrets, chronicling her journey from grief to empowerment. The book became a bestseller, its raw honesty resonating with readers worldwide. Each chapter was a testament to Josh's courage and a subtle indictment of her family's moral bankruptcy, ensuring their infamy endured. The NIB's investigation uncovered more than just financial crimes. It revealed a network of corruption that implicated several city officials, leading to a broader crackdown on Chicago's political machine. Jessie's evidence became the cornerstone of what the media dubbed the Chicago Purge, a sweeping reform effort that reshaped the city's governance. Richard and Ethan faced multiple charges, with trials that dragged on for months, each court appearance a reminder of their betrayal. They lost their wealth, their influence, and their freedom, sentenced to years in prison. Clara, desperate to salvage her reputation, sent Jessie a tearful letter begging for forgiveness. "I was scared, Jessie. I didn't know what to do," she wrote. But Jessie, hardened by the betrayal, didn't respond. She had learned that some wounds are too deep to heal. Her family too reached out, offering apologies laced with excuses. But Jessie was done. "You chose your empire over me," she wrote in her final letter to them. "Now, live with the ruins." Months later, Jessie stood at Josh's grave, the autumn wind carrying the scent of fallen leaves. She felt a quiet peace, not because her pain had vanished, but because she had transformed it into something meaningful. The foundation, the memoir, and the city's reckoning were her tribute to Josh's legacy built on truth, not vengeance. She had new friends now, people who valued her for who she was, not what she could offer. The pain of her family's absence at Josh's funeral lingered, but it no longer defined her. Jessie had turned her grief into a weapon, her loss into a legacy. And in doing so, she had proven that the greatest revenge is not just exposing the guilty, it's rising above them, unbowed and unbroken.